Oro Valley, Tucson.
An Arizona Lotus Corp radio station.
You want it? You got it. Reality radio done right.
No nonsense, real and raw, just like you like it.
He's corrupt, he's inexperienced, and he lies.
Broadcasting from a broom closet in the Arizona Lotus Studios, it's Beef Vegan Presents.
Yo, welcome back to the show. It's Beef Vegan Presents live from Rock 102.1 KFMA, streaming worldwide at KFMA.com on this beautiful Friday. Made it to the end of another week, May 16th. Good morning, Valdez.
I'm Valdez.
And good morning, Tucson. Thank you guys for tuning into the show. We have a few friends stopping by this morning. Going to have a lot of fun. Continue to give out tickets for the D-backs versus the Rockies and Mammoth. Mammoth dropped the WVH, but I'm talking about Wolfgang Van Halen's band. Performing at the Marquee Theater in December. We got that as listener bait. We are a couple days away from Meet the Chefs event. We met the chefs. We're looking forward to see what the chefs can do this Sunday at Desert Diamond Sayurita. I'm stoked on this. You got a busy weekend lined up with promo and stuff, Valdez?
You know, I thought I was going to work to Meet the Chefs, but now I get to go just to go.
Oh, good.
So, yeah.
No, that's good because we're all going to be out there, the whole crew from BVP, and hopefully we'll get some good pictures and stuff so we can put together some banners and all that fun stuff. So let's go have fun and lose some money. And you know what? It's good, too, because it's someone to station event. This will be like my 17th time inviting you out to do something fun, and I think it's unavoidable this time, huh? Are we actually going to hang out in public to have fun?
To have fun, yes, correct.
What's going on, man? I keep trying. I didn't want to talk about this right off the bat because there's a lot of stuff we're going to talk about. It's National Barbecue Day, and I know you're an expert on it. See, I know you just got a boner. But we invited you. You've been working so hard. I keep inviting you to like fun activities of like free food and stuff. You ghosted me the other day, bud.
Yeah, because like he totally disrespected me, and I was like, nope, don't have time for this.
All right, let's talk about that. How did I disrespect you? Let's pull it up. And in a friendly way. I'm not, this is all love, by the way, before we get defensive and stuff. Let's see. So at what point in the thread did I disrespect you?
Because I was pouring concrete, and you're like,
oh, you're pouring concrete.
You're your own boss. You just drop everything and leave. I was like, I can't, man. I'm working.
I'm free tacos. I'm excited about free tacos or quesadillas or chimichangas. It was Cease's soft opening. And
I was like, maybe if I got paid more, I wouldn't have to do all these side gigs. You're like, I don't need a sob story. I just need you there. I'm like, a sob story would be me just sitting there being like, woe to me. I work part-time. No, I'm out there hustling, pouring concrete, painting houses, demolishing things that are rotting, fixing cars. Yes. This guy over here has a whole day to plan eating free food. And it just craps all over me. He's like, how dare you work trying to survive?
Okay, so that's not true because I don't have a whole day because I've been staying super busy with all the gigs I've been doing. But on top of that, though, read it verbatim because you're paraphrasing. I feel like is a misrepresentation of, what I was saying. I was like, still working on that deck. And then you're like, yeah, finished paint job. I didn't know you were pouring concrete. You didn't mention that at all. I was like, nice. See, I said nice with the exclamation point, which is like, extra cool. And, and then I was like, you still down to grub for free like a big shot tonight?
There is no nice. You still grub for free like a big shot tonight. I forgot all about that. I'm still working. Sorry. Bro, you're missing out.
Yeah, you're missing out.
I know. If I got paid enough, I wouldn't have to do side hustle and miss out on shit or stuff.
Oh, come on. When you read it verbatim, you don't need to go verbatim. You got to censor some of the stuff because we talk like adults with text messaging.
Not true. You get paid enough to eat great free food and you make your schedule. My whole adult life was side hustle.
No, stop. Pause. You got to read that back because, again, you misread that. And maybe this is why. I
misread it. This is like direct from your snout or your little texting fingers.
I'll play it back for you. You completely misread the first sentence. Listen to this. And you get paid enough to eat great for free, dog. That's what I said. I was like, because
the dog makes a whole difference.
No, because I said you get paid enough to eat great for free. That was the point. Being like, yeah, you don't need money to eat great, to eat free. You know.
and you make your own schedule. And then
That's
here
right.
comes the typical beef signature. I'm going to make this into a wiener contest. My whole adult life was a side hustle. Wrap it up for the day and meet us out there for free food and drinks and stop at the sob story.
That's right.
I don't control the payroll, brother.
That's
it's
right.
at 6. I'm like 10-4.
Yeah, and then you gave me
That's
10-4, so I was like, cool, he's coming.
Because
All
I'm
right.
like, I can't halfway through a concrete be like, well, people who pay me to do this, I got to dip out
Oh,
for
I
some whitewash food for free because my pseudo boss.
Don't insult the food. Don't insult the food because, Stace is actually like
you don't have
fantastic.
to say their name. You don't have to say their name.
No, I said it at the beginning, and that's why I'm saying don't insult their food. But with that said as well, it was good. And I didn't know you were
Look at Dick. Just said, like, you make your own schedule, and my whole life is a side hustle. I'm like, okay, princess. You like DJ at booby bars. I'm over
That's
here.
not true.
Look at my hands. They're all effed up. They're all dry and cracked and messed up, and I'm even browner.
I understand.
And then
I
this
understand
dude's
labor, dude. Look. I see this is a problem. I think the problem is assumptions, and there's a ton of them going on here. First off, I didn't know that you were doing concrete, and if you would have been like, "Hey, I'm laying concrete right now," I'd be like, bummer, right?
It doesn't even matter what I was doing. The fact that you're like, drop everything for this. I'm like, no, bro.
Right. My side hustles were never booby bars, right? I did booby bars maybe twice, and then I realized I didn't want to be in that scene. The rest of it was like manual labor, legitimately, right? So I had calluses, dude. They're gone now. They're soft. My hands are so soft right now. You would think they're like a woman's breasts. That's how soft they are. That's not my fault, right? Everything that I'm doing now with all my jobs involve me either holding a microphone or like the keyboard stuff. I'm a keyboard warrior. And yeah, that sucks, but that's the hustle now. And my back thanks me for it. I feel you on the hard like work and labor pain and side hustles. I get that. But I was just like, hey, it's free. So if there's a way, and you knew this was ahead of time, I was like, we had this ahead of time. You could have easily been like, I'm going to schedule this and maybe be done with the pouring or not pour until tomorrow or whatever the case. But,
that's the thing too. It's like I got other stuff. Like my dad had an eye appointment that he couldn't drive himself from, so I had to go there.
Okay.
Then I had to go
okay.
do the thing.
So
it's like,
okay, that's fine.
For free food that's not going to pay my rent, I can't.
I get it. You got to make money. You got to make money and stuff. So and that's good. It was valid this time. I'm just saying that. Hey, big dog, I want to hang out with you. That's a good thing. And you're like, hey, buddy, I like you. I want to hang out with you. I want to be your friend. So
you're like Ike Turner. You're like, I beat you because I'm trying to teach you a lesson.
I don't understand.
I'm like, why is there such abuse if that was true? Like, you just wanted to hang out.
I'm not beating you.
Oh, man, that's
okay.
Not like everything I did was side hustles. Like, you got to pay your dues. I'm like, all right, man.
I'm not beating you.
This is starting Friday like this. It's
well,
Friday.
no, just because you're not listening and you're like, what do you mean? I'm not beating you or verbally beating you or berating you. Not yet. That segment's reserved for 7:45 this morning. Anyways, well, the point is, looking forward to hanging out with you on Sunday, man. That's gonna be fun.
I will. I'll be there. So, and I won't be working it, so that'll be a good thing.
It's too bad you can miss out on that money, man. I don't know what you're gonna do about rent now, but there'll be free food. So
I like that little jab you got in there.
And what?
God, I wish you would have been my inmate when I was a CEO up in Flagstaff. Oh, I would have had fun with you.
Oh, so you could abuse your authority, and that's nice. It's probably a good reason you're not doing that job anymore. Then did you abuse inmates? You shouldn't be doing that.
Dude, I'm awesome, man. They love me. They see me on the outs, like, CEO, what's up? And they give me like a highlight of their life. And I'm like, that's good, man. I was like, keep on. Because remember how much it sucked in there? I'm like, don't go back.
That's good. That's inspiring.
Yeah, because why would I crap on them? They're out. And hopefully they'll stay out.
I know. I think we've been going through like 5 different topics here this morning already to start off the bat. It is National
Live
Barbecue
on the podcast
Day.
broadcast. You can join us.
See, there you go.
YouTube.com/BT.
All right, we got a great show lined up for you
Music,
today. Good morning, Lawrence, coming up after
and
Music for
Ozzy
Nothing
Osbourne,
More,
Rock
featuring David
101.
Draymond, who just shared the stage last night. And I know plenty of you went. And hopefully you're still sleeping in this morning. But if you're up working today, you're hardcore, and we salute you. Morning Lawrence coming up after Nirvana. Stick around. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. Todd's like, I feel you, Valdez. Shut up, Todd. You don't feel that. Welcome back to the podcast broadcast. All right. And we've had a great morning so far. Have we not?
Oh, yeah.
All right. See, I even got past the snout thing. Now you move that, but you're gonna have to move it back.
Okay.
So, wait, hold on. All right,
Sorry.
that's all right. Let me do a close up on Valdez. Go ahead and move it to where it's good. And then you could just move over, and then when Herb comes back in, we'll scoot over and start doing movie review stuff. So, Dave, you went to Disturb last night. You got your tickets. You win tickets for me, right? And let me know in the comments that you got those tickets and you're able to go. There was issues that we were addressing yesterday. You know, whenever there's a big like concert day, I'll get callers, especially if we give out tickets like 6 months before the event, right? There's always issues. So I had one guy call and say he didn't get he got an email saying his tickets were canceled. And I'm like, I felt bad for him. And I was like, all right, well, we're going to try to like address this. And I was like, so I already feel bad for you. And he goes, and my wife has cancer and blah, blah, blah. And then he started going into more sob stories. I'm like, I was already feeling bad for you, man. Now I'm like, I'm devastated. But yes, don't worry. You don't have to tell me all the things that are going wrong in your life right now. You're going to get your tickets. So we'll figure it out. But then, for the next 5 minutes. And I'm just like, that's terrible. I'm like, why are you even leaving the house then, man? But he ended up getting tickets. And I found out what it was. It was that he received the tickets from Live Nation a while ago. And then he didn't claim the tickets.
Oh.
And I never knew this before. So this is something that I would have to tell people now going forward. That if you receive the tickets, you must claim the tickets, put it in your Live Nation wallet. Because if you don't claim, I know it's such a pain in the ass. If you don't claim it after a certain amount of times, they automatically cancel those, and that's what he got. And
how
then
impatient is Live Nation? Holy hell!
I don't know, man. And the whole reason why is to prevent any kind of scalping, and because they're digital tickets. And we've had every radio station has had issues with what's called prize pigs, winning a bunch of tickets just to resell them. It's like a side hustle, And if they're going to call in and win, that's great. But obviously it's irritating when somebody wants all the prizes anyways. For me personally, like, I appreciate everybody listening. I want to kind of spread the wealth, so to speak. Love getting new winners. Love getting, people who listen to the show, they win a couple times a year is fair, right? Yeah. Every week, that's not fair, and there's people that I really enjoy, and even some people that watch the stream, you know who you are. And I appreciate you, but you can't get them every single time. As much as we all like free stuff, which I love free stuff. When I get In-N-Out cards, I grab a bunch of them, right? But I don't go to In-N-Out every day for a free In-N-Out. You know what I mean? All right. So we've had a lot of rants today. All right. So Herb's not even going to be talking about Mission Impossible, but I do have early reviews. He's on the other show real quick, and then he'll be in right after that. And then we'll get into all our different previews and stuff. What's this comment? I was trying to wake my man because your show is on. Can you give him a shout out? Yeah, who's your man? Well, you want me to shout him on the air and just wake him up? Because that was the old school technique of what? This sound drop was the wake up sound drop. James. Yeah, James. All right, so, and the reason why I play that in the morning is funny because I think this led to Powers quitting the show because people, talk smack if it's sometimes in person. So what will happen is, especially on a multi-person show, if you get recognized in person, usually the person will be like, oh, you're my favorite person on the show. And I don't like, blah, 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 blah. So a lot of people have a tendency to throw someone else under the bus to lift someone else up. You know what I mean? And it is a little disingenuous, but Powers was telling me a story of he met a guy at the Monica who said that he listens to the show, recognized him from the show, but then was kind of like bagging on me, right? And saying I ripped off this wake up drop from a DJ, right? And so Powers told me this. Now I knew he didn't tell me everything from this story, but Rock 1 2.1 KFMA, welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. He didn't have to tell me everything from this story, right? Because then I knew, because I've had these conversations before, I knew where this conversation went. But this, like I was saying, this guy said that I stole this wake up drop. And that's going out to James. James, wake up. Your girl's on the stream and she wanted me to wake you up. All right. But I didn't steal it. It is something I grew up listening to. It is an homage to a radio show that I grew up listening to when I was a young kid, when I was like 8, 9, 10 years old. Bruce Kelly used to be on Y95 in Phoenix, and they would do this prank, right? Or it was probably staged, but at the time, everything was real. It was the 80s. It could have very well been real. That he would send out different ways to like prank wake people up, right? So spouses would basically call in and be like, hey, yeah, my husband, he'll be sleeping at 6:05. Can you wake him up? And he'll send like a mariachi band, right? And so then the wife will call in, right? Have the phone there. The mariachi band will start playing, and then he'll put the phone up. He'll have the wife put the phone up to the person's ear they're pranking, and then play this. That was how he woke people up, right? It was a fantastic radio bit in the 80s. It was the morning radio zoo. It was all that, right? It stuck with me. It was a memory, a fond memory of being one of the reasons why I loved radio and what I fell in love with radio. So when I had the opportunity to host my own show again, and I'm going into my whole intro that I do each and every morning, I drop a couple wake ups, and it's not as like you're stealing it per se. It's an homage to what is basically my origin story into what I do. And it's because I was influenced. Now, unfortunately, Bruce Kelly allegedly is a hot mess right now. I see him on social media every now and then.
That's funny because that's why I live my life the way I do. I'm a fat alcoholic womanizer in homage to Chris Farley because I love him so much.
That's why you've done that. I know. In fact, actually, Valdez, when he was growing up, he was what was it? What do they call it in college? What was the level of college athlete you were?
Oh,
division
baseball player?
Yeah, what division?
God, it was Pima College, and then it was where were we? San Diego State. So I think that was the WAC conference back then.
Oh, it doesn't matter about the conference. It's a Division 2, Division 1. Okay, Division 1. See, this is Division 1 athlete, right? But then he fell in love with Chris Farley, and he's like, you know what? Screw this 6-pack. I'm just gonna fill out because the ladies love a large man, and they're not wrong. They're not wrong.
Wake up.
Yeah.
I love it. Every morning I'm like mouthing them on.
Yeah, you do it. Yeah. All right. So, so that was pretty much that story. Long story short. Let's talk about Mission Impossible here. Mission Impossible, of course, is going to be released this weekend. It's a big deal. Final Reckoning. Will this be the last Mission Impossible, right? Have you watched the Mission Impossible franchises? Are you a fan?
I think I watched the first one that came out many years ago. That was it.
Many years ago. That was like the 90s, dude. Everyone knows the iconic dropping from the ceiling scene, right? And then this turned into one of the longest running franchises in modern history. So Final Reckoning is the final entry in Tom Cruise Mission Impossible franchise, hitting theaters in 1 week, and early reviews for it call it a little messy, but it's made up for spectacular action set pieces, right? Which I'm sure Herb Stratford's going to have kind of like the same idea. But so we'll do the good reviews, the bad reviews real quick. The good reviews is from Collider. They say it's a fitting tribute to everything the series has been. All right. The bad review is from Variety. It's a fitting tribute to everything the series has been. I mean, it really depends on how you want to take it, right? All right. Then as we continue, another good review here for Tom Cruise's Mission Impossible Final Reckoning. One thing's for sure, Tom Cruise does always make sure that you'll get enough bang for your buck, right? And here's a bad review from The Hollywood Reporter. One thing's for sure, you're going to hope that Tom Cruise didn't stick that landing. I don't know why they stuttered in that review. That was so stupid from The Hollywood Reporter.
Unnecessary.
Yeah, so unnecessary. So mean. But yeah, Herb Stratford's in studio. Let's check out some trailers and get some reviews of some releases that are dropping this week, including a show on HBO that should have been shot in Tucson, but we missed our shot with that. How good is Duster? We'll find out. You can join us, youtube.com/beefvegan, or keep it right here on Rock 102.1.
I thought they did film the pilot here.
The pilot, probably.
Yeah, they filmed a pilot, and then the strikes happened, and so then they decamped, and because we didn't have incentives in place, they went to New Mexico, and then they refilmed the pilot.
Bro,
An
is that what
incredible
happened?
amount of money.
Yeah.
I think they spent $20 million on the pilot.
Because I was cast to be in that, and they even wanted me to be a stand-in because I was the same height and size as one of the actors. Allegedly.
Really?
Oh, we're gonna find out
And
who.
the stand-in was like paid more than that.
All right, well, hold that thought. Early this morning, I show you that Valdez and I actually did get along this morning. And so I'll show you that video, and then we'll get Herb on camera and be back with reviews and a whole lot more. So stick around. Here's today's Morning Moron. Again, they shared the stage last night at a sold-out show up in Phoenix, and I know they did that song because I was seeing our listeners clip it up on Instagram and stuff. So I hope you guys had a good time at that show. It's now 6:17 and time for your Morning Moron. Let's do this. All right. When I say Love Shack, what do you think, Valdez?
B-52s.
That's right. That's a song.
Oh, yeah.
But you know what? Not everybody equates B-52's Love Shack to an actual Love Shack. I mean, for some people, a Love Shack is a shed inside a Lowe's where you can masturbate.
Oh,
That's exactly what
that's
happened
sad.
with today's Morning Moron. A guy in Louisiana got arrested on Mother's Day after he was caught pleasuring himself inside a display shed at Lowe's. Love Shack, baby. Yeah. It happened around 5 p.m. It was on Mother's Day, too, right?
That's sad.
Maybe
That's
he
even
just missed his
sadder.
mom, dude. All right, so it happened on Sunday at a Lowe's in New Orleans, suburb, New Orleans suburb. It was one of those tool sheds that you've seen in front of Lowe's and Home Depot that show like the different storage options they got. And somebody was checking it out, peered inside, and just saw a naked guy. Yeah, that's right. He got butt ass naked to do this. You know, and when you're like masturbating on the go, do you really need a strip from head to toe?
That's what I was thinking. I was like, that's a lot of effort, man.
you-
Just for a quick.
Look, well, maybe it wasn't a quick. He was making love inside his love shack. You know, some people have shed fetishes. It's a shedish. So cops showed up. They searched 4 or 5 sheds. Eventually found him lying on his back with his pants around his ankles, and there was an open tub of Vaseline next to him.
Oh,
After a thorough investigation, they figured out that, no, I'm just kidding. They knew exactly what he was doing right away.
he was moisturizing. Come on, man.
Insane. All right. So they also said he had an electronic device. So probably a phone. All right. He admitted that he'd been pleasuring himself while he was watching YouTube. YouTube? I'm like, come on, man. I mean, like, you got your phone in your hand. It's the internet. It's connected to the internet. There's so many sites you can go to that are better for that activity than YouTube. Now, they didn't release his name or age, but he is facing charges for obscenity and ruining a Lowe's shed. And so
You think they're gonna put that shit on discount now?
I would hope so, but I don't think they will. I think they'll spray it down and then they'll just be like, just showcase the durability. Be like, look, it's a stain resistant shed. And in case you don't believe me, check out this news story about this guy caught masturbating in here. Huh? Could you tell?
It's
Can
a
you see it?
sensual shed. Did
Yeah.
you just say sensual? Yes. Yes, I did.
For some people, they define a Lowe's shed as a love shack. And if you're one of those people, then you're definitely going to be dubbed a morning moron. With the middle here on Beef Vegan Presents Rock 102.1 KFMA. A lot of stories happening in the news, and now it gets you caught up here at the end of the week. And I don't know, you've been following all the news, but here's some news that you need to know. First and foremost, what do you think the optimal amount of beers are in like a sitting where you're not trying to get drunk, but you're trying to get a good little head change, feel pretty good, and, you know, like just enjoy a regular weeknight, a happy hour of sorts?
Wait, so you don't drink to get drunk? When did this happen?
Okay, well then I'm probably asking the wrong person, but this was a question and a scientific research asking, what the optimal amount of beers to drink in one sitting may be. Now, of course, that answer, and it may vary because there is no like one size fits all. When you consider a person's size, metabolism, food intake, overall drinking experience, like,
I would think a normal person probably like 3 beers.
That's good. Okay. So what's a Valdez person?
Oh, to feel nice and like just loose, maybe about 5, 6.
I don't know. I saw you drink 5-6 at the Roadrunners games, and you were far more than loose, dude.
But those were like big ones.
Yeah.
I'm assuming they're talking about normal size.
Yeah,
beers.
12-ounce pours. Yeah, that's what they are. So they say the overall, the size of the beer, if you're talking 12-ounce cans, pints or big-ass Germans, the 12-ounce cans, they say about 2 beers to reach that happy medium of having an enjoyable beer session without feeling overly tipsy.
Okay.
Yeah,
I see that.
Yeah. Thank you, science. We need to know that. I'm sure it was fun researching that. All right, looks like human composting is about to be a thing.
Wait, what?
Yeah. No, human composting is about to be legal in Georgia. The governor, Brian Kemp, signed a bill this week that will allow funeral homes to make human composting facilities.
What?
Yeah, the CEO of a Washington-based company called Recompost says that the option allows people the chance to return to Earth when they die. Now, I know there's been various kind of like services that will kind of, put your ashes in with a seed and grow a tree or something. So, you become, reborn, if you will.
I'm donating mine to the Body Farm so they can like watch it, how it decomposes to help solve crimes because they have like, it's a whole thing. I don't want to get into it, but it's awesome. So,
okay, so you already have it signed up for that, huh?
Even after death, I'll be fighting crime.
Nice. All right, look at you. You're like the Batman of dead people. All right, so the idea of blending human remains into gardens and yards have been growing in popularity in recent years, especially within the hippie community. So in Georgia, that's legal, But the thing is, human compost. All right, enough about human composting. Let's get back here on the radio. But before we do, here, I'll show you. This is the picture that Valdez was talking about off screen or off air here. Yes, Nicolas Cage is for sure 100% going to play John Madden in an upcoming movie, along with Christian Bale as Al Davis. This is the picture right here.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, look at Christian. I mean, Nicolas Cage doesn't necessarily look like John Madden. He looks like Nicolas Cage in a wig.
In a wig, yeah.
Why does Christian Bale look like Tom Arnold?
No, this is what
happening.
This is what Al Davis looked like, dude.
Yeah,
Like,
this
Tom Arnold?
It's what they look like in the 70s.
Look up pictures of Al Davis in the 70s, and this is what's amazing about Christian Bale, who's a chameleon. That looks like Al Davis.
I wish we had the ability to draw on the screen. You see right here the hair. The hair's what, and then you swoop over to the chin, and then you got the ring right there.
Yeah. That. I mean, I didn't even know. I saw this picture earlier this week, and obviously Nicolas Cage. Initially, you're just like, "Wow, huh? That's gonna be cool. It's gonna be a good movie." But then, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together. That's Christian Bale.
I know. Yeah,
which is insane.
Yeah, it really is.
That's fucking Batman, who looks like he's 5'6" next to Nick Cage as a Madden. And Nick Cage, I wonder if he went the legit route of gaining weight. It's difficult because Christian Bale's known for gaining weight and losing weight for roles. But that's something that you could only do as a young man. That's not something you could do. Yeah. Like Russell Crowe said that he ended up, he would do this all the time as well. And then he tried to play Rupert Murdoch. How do I say his last name? Rupert
Murdoch.
Yeah, Murdoch.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he was basically drinking it was like rum and eating cheeseburgers to gain weight. And then he realized, I fucked up. I can't get this off. He's done.
Yeah.
All right, do me a favor, scoot a little bit this way. There you go. Well, perfect. There we go.
Look deep into each other's eyes.
We're going to have a commitment ceremony at the end.
Oh, nice.
Right.
I can officiate.
You can.
It's going to be great. This is a great movie just for the fact that this was the very last time the Raiders ever won anything. Document that. I see you, Taco. Bag on your Raiders. I mean, I love the way they look. That silver and black attack. But, I mean, am I wrong? Tell me I'm wrong. Ever since Bo Jackson, that was the last glimmer of hope the Raiders had.
Yeah.
I'm sure they went close to the Super Bowl after that, but no rings. The only
closest they got was free tickets when the Super Bowl was at their stadium.
Yeah. No Raiders were allowed inside that Super Bowl for sure. All right, here we go. Rock 102.1 Camp, man. Welcome back to Be Vegan Presents. We're hanging out here with film critic Herb Stratford, and you may have saw if you own HBO Max, if you stream Max, HBO Go Max, so it's going to be HBO Max yet again.
Yep.
Right now, it's still Max. But they did release a new series, a series that Tucsonans should be familiar with because it could have been ours.
And technically it was ours, sort of briefly. So yeah, so this is a series called Duster, and it stars Josh Holloway from Lost. You guys remember Josh Holloway?
Oh yeah.
And he basically plays sort of a getaway driver for a local crime sort of syndicate. It's set in the 70s, as I said. It's supposed to be Phoenix, but they picked Tucson because, I mean, to film initially the pilot because Tucson had more 70s period architecture still, and they could sort of dress Tucson to look like Phoenix looked like in the 70s.
Yeah, and you see Tucson, I told you don't fix up anything ever, and it would pay off in the long run.
Yeah, they didn't listen. Yeah. So what happened was they filmed this, and then they went away, and it didn't air. And then they were like, you guys don't have incentives, and we spent $20 million here, and we can do it a lot cheaper in New Mexico. So they moved to New Mexico. They reshot the pilot. They reshot the next 9 episodes. So the whole first season is supposed to be Phoenix, but it's all was shot in New Mexico. And I got to tell you, anybody that's ever been to Phoenix will look at this show and go, that ain't Phoenix.
Right.
There's just no way you're thinking that. I'm sorry, it's not Phoenix.
They just keep trying to do desert shots and shots with the sun in the background. Be like, yeah, see, Phoenix, see?
Well, they got fake cactuses in a couple scenes, and then they've got like a neighborhood which is like, oh, is that right next to Walter White? Because that's Breaking Bad right there. You know what I mean?
Okay, let me defend Duster just a little bit because the neighborhood that I was lived in Phoenix and stuff often got compared to Walter White's neighborhood as well. So yeah, we do have.
Is that because
like
of the crystal meth, or?
Well, yeah, I mean, because I was selling meth to operate my morning show, but no,
Okay.
like the house and everything. They were checking the roof for pizzas. So like whenever I've had bands, because I have bands and comedians stop by that studio all the time, and that was the very first thing they would say time and time again. Be like, I think I'm in Walter White's neighborhood.
Really?
So yeah, there are neighborhoods like that
right.
were built in like the 70s. So, but there is a huge difference between the Sonoran Desert and New Mexico, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, this is it. Honestly, I'm surprised. It's at 89%. I feel like that's a little bit high on Rotten Tomatoes. I feel like the writing's not really on point, and Josh really likes his long flowing hair, so it's always sort of blowing in the breeze. And
Right.
It's just, there's some interesting things. I don't know. We'll see if it resonates and if it gets multiple seasons. But I will say that's the hard part, is that this should have been ours. It should have been our series.
So they didn't use any of the footage that they filmed here?
Nothing.
Like,
so
they
you're
did
not in
everything here.
I
Damn
know.
it.
Valdez has extra curiosity because he was cast as an extra and a stand-in for this. And for what character in the trailer, though? Because you're like, same body type and everything.
They're like, yeah, you're the same height and same body type. I'm like, cool. And being a stand-in actually paid more than being an extra, so I was excited.
It could be the main crime boss. I can't remember who he's playing, but it feels like Valdez would be a stand-in for him. So,
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I didn't. I didn't see any of those shots in the trailer.
No.
The trailer does look cool. I do feel like the review is a little biased based off of the heartbreak that they picked up and they left. I mean,
you don't think
wrong?
I can be professional about this? No, I tell you, the writing is not great. Everything else, all the production value is very good because these are top level people, but the writing, it just feels it feels like first draft. Like they could have gone better.
It's crazy is because with the technology of AI and everything, I actually have the ability to tap into the multiverse, our multiverse, right? So there's a universe actually that I'm looking at right now, a world where Duster was shot here in Tucson. And the Herb Stratford from that universe is talking up the writing as it's like
It's
next Citizen Kane. It's like Citizen Kane in a 9-part series. It's everything you love about Tucson, but it represents the world. And
see, here's what I would like. I would like this show to be successful enough that when they release the DVD, they're like, here's the unaired pilot, and we get to see the real pilot. That's what I would like to see.
There's no doubt, knowing this landscape of Arizona, that, I think people from Arizona will probably not like it the most because there'll be a clear difference and, it will just take us out of it, right? Yeah. But I think the rest of the world, if it's decent enough, shoot 'em up, bang, bang, crime thriller kind of show, might have an opportunity for a second season.
Yeah, and I mean, given HBO Max or Max, whatever it's called right now, given the thing that it has a chance to sit there and be discovered, it's not like it's in a theater and then it's gone 2 weeks later and then you're like, oh, we just wasted all that money. depending on the buzz, depending on all that stuff. And people love Josh Holloway. The ladies love Josh.
Yeah. I mean, long flowing hair looks good. Yeah. All right, we're going to keep the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast. Speaking of HBO Max, I'm going to tell Herb Stratford why he should watch the new Jake Paul reality show.
Okay.
And then we'll be back with what's coming to movie theaters this weekend as well. So you can stick around and join us, youtube.com/beefvegan. I mean, did you start watching that Netflix challenge yet? I think that's out now. I hear it's pretty good.
I watched that camp thing or whatever it's called, right? Battle camp or whatever. We watched like an episode or two, and it was sort of off-putting to me because I'm just like, there's don't do challenge does that. You know what I mean? I was like really frustrated because we love the challenge.
Yeah.
At our house. So so I haven't gone back. I had to rewatch Andor and then watch the whole second season of Andor, which I so loved. It was so perfect. And then I had to go back and rewatch the end of Severance before I started watching the second season of Severance. So I'm halfway through the second season of Severance now. So I'm just playing catch up. I haven't even gotten to The Last of Us yet.
See, Valdez, you're talking about labor and pouring concrete. This guy works hard. Here's day, he has to watch these things and just grind.
Yeah, he doesn't get verbally berated for missing things.
Oh, okay, stop with the exaggerations. We're moving past that. I'm sorry I even brought it up. Because seriously, verbally berated, give me a break. We're not doing this right now. Anyways, so
I was working yesterday. I was in a theater at 8 a.m. watching back-to-back movies. That's work, man.
at Roadhouse.
I was.
Were they coming
in theater 5 all by myself?
You didn't have to refill your drink or popcorn. What are you talking about? They come to you.
You know what? They're at 8 a.m. They don't got nothing. Right? It's just you're on your own at 8 a.m. I gotta tell you.
You have to bring your own flask.
Yeah.
That's cool. Are you watching these in the private theater that they've now built in Roadhouse? Have you seen this? It's connected to Roadies.
So they've got like 5 12-seat theaters, and they keep trying to put my screenings over there because they don't want to. If I'm there, they don't want to there may be a film that starts. Well, there may be a film that starts for the public, and they can't put me. And for the last 3 times, we've tried to go into a small theater, and they're like, it's not working. Go to theater 5. So I'm in theater 5 all by myself.
Okay.
It's sort of cool. But no, hopefully we'll be using those small ones. But yeah, no, Roadies is great, and I think they're doing well. People seem to be coming, and it's a cool experience if you haven't been there. Axe throwing and all kinds of good stuff. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Have you guys watched the Paul American show on HBO Max yet? I hate that I like this show. I really do, though. It is so good, and for many different reasons. Now, obviously, we know the Paul brothers, Logan Paul, Jake Paul, right? Jake Paul has definitely been making a name for himself, and of course, he had that Mike Tyson fight, which broke all the records. Now, this show showcases the family dynamic, right? Or the Paul brothers, or they grew up from a broken home. Their mom and dad are both in this show as well. And their dad is a lunatic. And that is good for reality TV.
Yeah.
They got smoking hot significant others. That is good for reality TV. They have tentpole, events happening in their life. Like coming back and performing at SummerSlam in front of your home crowd in a stadium of 60,000 people. That is good for reality TV.
Oh, yeah.
That is, getting ready to fight the most popular boxer ever. One of the greatest of all time. And then having it postponed and then getting injured before the fight. That is good for reality TV. These are all things. Getting pregnant for the very first time. That's what happened during Paul American is, Logan Paul and his fiance, Nina, end up having a baby girl. All documented on this first series of Paul American. Good for reality TV. It is absolutely fascinating and entertaining and funny and endearing. And I literally walked away being like, I like Logan Paul.
I didn't think that was going to happen.
I didn't think that was going to happen, right? Now, I mean, I'm like, I would totally bro down with them, have some beers with them, shoot the shit. I'm like, he reminds me of some of my boys, right? That's great. Now, Jake Paul's a little bit of a weirdo. Oh, at one point, Jake Paul wanted his dad to kind of touch base with his past trauma. So he flew him and his crew out to some place in South America to have an ayahuasca ceremony. That is good for reality TV. You understand what I'm saying now? I won't spoil that moment for you, but it was a little more hype than what it delivered on, but it was still like this is lifestyles of the rich and famous. These guys have all the money in the world, right? But they're doing all these like major events that they are spearheading themselves, and it's all being documented. And that first series, Apollo American, is 8 episodes, hour episode long, and solid from beginning to end. So I have to recommend it, and because it is such a great documentation, and they keep it flowing, but you'll walk away being like, God damn it, I don't hate the Pauls.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I do hope for a season 2. So, I'm a big fan of that. Now, of course, we have admitted before that we are a fan of garbage TV. What's a garbage TV show, Michael, that you would secretly hate to admit?
That you now have to admit in public.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I see Valdez thinking of one too.
That's tough.
All right. Well,
I'll
I'll
go to him first. Ask him. I'm checking.
What's the last thing that you watched on TV?
Last thing I watched was Severance, season 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's actually pretty good. And now you're just flexing on us.
And then Daredevil.
Oh yeah, Daredevil Born Again.
Stop with the good shit. What's
so
something?
good.
What's something that you'd be embarrassed of? First off, we knew
Oh.
Daredevil. You're dressed head to toe in Marvel.
You know, I was surprised. I rewatched or not rewatched, but I did watch the Punisher seasons.
Oh.
I hadn't watched those.
While it
That
was
the
on
one
Netflix. Yeah.
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 Mhm.
So
Neither did I, but yeah, it's good that they brought it back. All right.
Oh, I was a huge fan of OG Jerry Springer.
Really?
That's garbage TV at its finest.
Of
Did
course.
you watch that documentary, Valdez? The one that we talked
I
about?
did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wasn't that
okay, good,
great?
'cause I was going to be like, you have
I
to.
liked it. Yeah.
God, so interesting.
It was good, but it did seem like it kind of trailed off at
They
the end.
stretched it out.
Yeah. You
And
know,
I think they kind of protected Jerry too much too. Like
They
there wasn't
did.
enough like grit about him. I get it. He's dead, and you got to respect the dead. But still, what's he gonna do? Sue you?
they did blow, like they really moved fast past the scandal of him having like a threesome with guests and porn stars and stuff. They're just like, they're going through everything, and then they're like, oh yeah, and then got in trouble for sleeping with a couple of guests, and then they're like, no, not and then.
Yeah.
Like, no, let's go down the rabbit hole of this orgy that was orchestrated because of the guests, because those women look smoking hot too. Jerry Springer was always kind of like a pee fiend. I mean, this followed his career.
Yeah.
I mean, with he was getting in trouble with prostitutes when he was a mayor in Ohio.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy.
I know. And my dad loved that show. I love that show too, but my dad was the type that was watching it like 5-6 hours a day every day.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Holy
man.
hell!
I know. If that gives you an idea of the loin that was cut from, huh?
That answers a lot.
I know it does. I know it does, man. Stop thinking the worst of me, though. All right. We got film critic Herb Stratford joining us, and we have a lot of things that are coming to the movie theaters this weekend. Let's talk about one real quick. Final Destination Bloodlines. Is this the 7th version?
It's the 6th.
Oh, it's
For
close.
those who are counting.
Yeah.
I was throwing out the seed number of exaggeration to be like a jackass, but no, I was that close.
So here's the thing. It started in 2000,
Mhm.
right?
Wow.
And they made 5 movies between 2000 and 2011. So it was pretty regular.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, that was like clockwork. And I feel like, and for people who don't know, the Final Destination, the premise here is that people sort of narrowly escape death, and then they get hunted down by death because they should have died in the first accident, right?
Yep.
So obviously there's some juice there, but they were sort of petering out in 2011 with the 5th one. So they sort of gave it a rest. This is the 6th movie, and I got to tell you, honestly, it's at 93% on Rotten Tomatoes. I saw it yesterday. I liked it. It's smart.
Yeah.
So unlike Duster, it's smart because it like does, it's like, they'd exhausted that. It's like, okay, creative deaths, whatever, we can do that. How many movies can you do that? Like now they're like, okay, well, let's put a plot behind this. And so the plot of this one is that there's this incident in the late 60s, sort of like a Space Needle like restaurant opening night. Of course, everything goes wrong. Beautiful set piece, amazing effects. Well, it turns out what you saw didn't really happen because this one woman had a premonition and she stopped it from happening. Well, death, unlike just like a couple of kids, a couple teenagers that avoided a log truck, right?
Mhm.
This is like, death is like, okay, this should have killed like 200 people. So now death has been stalking everybody that survived or didn't die in this accident, and all of their family members who wouldn't be born because they shouldn't be alive.
Oh no!
Right?
Death
So,
is a petty bitch.
Yeah,
we knew this.
So now you've got a little more, right? So not only do you have amazing and creative and graphic deaths, but you got a little bit of a story, right? So it's actually very good. It's very entertaining. There's some crazy, crazy deaths. I mean, just nutty stuff, and some nice nods towards like, you know, the log truck, and there's things that sort of little winks that, you know, to you who know the series. So it's a good watch. It's a lot of fun.
Hollywood loves doing that, dropping Easter eggs within their own like IP for sure. There was a fun fact about this movie that I read a few weeks ago about the oldest living stunt woman who was in this movie in the opening scene, and you know. I don't know why they casted her. Be like, we need real death in this. Let's get an 81-year-old stunt woman. She survived, actually, pulled off the stunt pretty well, but maybe not in the movie. You're gonna have to watch Final Destination: Bloodlines to find out. Film critic Herb Stratford. Well done, man. Thanks. All right, so I was recording that for the other station, and we're gonna get on the air for the a bigger one here. Little Herb. You never know when I'm recording. You know, this is what I do, Michael.
That's how he rolls.
That's how I roll.
Yeah.
Like we were interviewing Mouse Pal the other day, and just via satellite, and he's like, "What's going on? What are you doing?" Because he's on the podcast broadcast, right? And then I'm also like recording little segments that I could air on the other station, like 3 minutes at a time, and so I have to do this with Mick Foley later today at 2:00 supposedly. So I'm going to record like a podcast interview with him. But what he doesn't know is that whenever he goes full screen like this, right, I'm going to be backstage like this, typing and like saving that. And then whenever we go back to this screen, I'm like, I've been
listening,
attentively paying attention this entire time.
Yeah.
All right. What's Todd saying there, Valdez?
A little Herb is how I roll too.
Yeah. That's a lot of Herb. Don't lie, Todd. That is
Thank you, Todd.
Yeah.
Thank you, Todd.
Yeah, this guy, he's high from the moment he gets up until he goes to bed for sure. All right, Hurry Up Tomorrow's the movie that we're going to be talking about. And I said twice because I'm like, is this a musical? What the fuck are you doing to us, Herb? But no, it's not a musical.
It's not a musical, but yeah, is right. So
okay.
We'll
good. So good. It's a good avoid this movie.
Yes.
Okay.
Hardcore.
Which is crazy too because it stars some pretty big names.
It does. That is what's surprising. Yep.
Okay. Now he's got our attention. That's how you do a tease. So 15 seconds, going to be live on the air. We're going to be recording this one as well.
All right.
So and 10 seconds. We don't have to sit here in silence for that. Give me a quip here, Valdez.
I'm Valdez.
There we go.
Yeah. See? Why is Herb saying your pickup line?
The hardest working man in show business.
I know. He just verbally poured concrete. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back to Beef Vegan Presents. All right, we got film critic Herb Stratford in studio with us. And with that, we were talking about things that you should see this weekend. But more importantly, what should you avoid like the plague? There is a big movie with a lot of big names that's being released this weekend that you should stay away from, huh, Herb?
You should. So this is called Hurry Up Tomorrow, and this stars The Weeknd. But to your point, it's not just The Weeknd. It's Barry Keoghan, who of course everybody knows and loves.
Humping the dirt in Saltburn,
right?
Yes.
Okay. And also it stars Jenna Ortega, who is really sort of the poster child for the next generation because of Beetlejuice and Wednesday and everything else she's in, right? She Death of a Unicorn she was just in. Anyway, you're thinking on paper, you're like, okay, is this more than a vanity project because you got real other people involved? No, it's a vanity project. It's pretty awful. It's almost masturbatory in its self-gratification. It's like
for The Weeknd.
Yeah,
this
for
is
The
Weeknd.
Yeah. So basically the story is The Weeknd is playing himself.
Right.
I mean, he's not even changing his name. He's The Weeknd. Although everything is credited to Abel Tesfaye or whatever his real name is.
Right.
But anyway, he plays this musical artist. There's a lot of these loving shots of him on stage and musical numbers that go way too long. And basically, he's sort of freaking out. He's a little burned out. Barry Keoghan plays his manager. constantly giving him drugs, keeping him up. He's like, oh, I have this voice problem. Then they're like, no, it's psychosomatic. It's not real. So, there's definitely a problem there. Is he going to walk off tour? What's going to happen? Then Jenna Ortega shows up for no apparent reason other than she's a psycho. And she's a hot psycho. She is a hot psycho.
Groupie psycho?
And she basically, she miseries him, right? For the reference there, right? You know? And so now it's like, is he going to get away from her? Is she going to kill him? What's going on? Is Barry going to be able to find him in time?
If Barry is his agent in here, why is there manager? Why is there so many shots of him without a shirt on?
Well, he's fashion challenged, but it's, honestly, this is 15% on Rotten Tomatoes, and that's generous.
Oh, wow.
Okay. This is a hot mess. I mean, yes, I love Barry. I love Jenna, but The Weeknd, and he played that role on TV. He was in that series where he was like a Svengali kind of guy, and he was the mentoring that young musician woman, and it was like all the sex and everything. And I think this is him trying
the hell out of that pretty quick too. Yeah.
So I think this is them trying to brand him as a movie star. And yes, he's handsome, he's charismatic, he has a good voice. He has a following, but this is not the material.
Let me ask you this. If you are a fan of The Weeknd and The Weeknd's catalog, right? Music, would you enjoy this movie better because there are those long performances and whatnot?
You would. And I think if you're a fan, you should probably go see it. But at the same time, it's almost something where you're like, you're going to want to mute it when he's not on stage.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because.
So is it fair? Like, let me say that the reason why you dislike this so much, let me check notes here, is because you are an old white guy. Is that one of the reasons why?
No, I like The Weeknd. I like his music. I'm just like, I like good movies. Let's just put it that way. And it's not written well, and it's not the fault of anybody else. I mean, they paid for A-level talent.
So this is not Purple Rain 2.0.
No.
Okay.
No, do yourself a favor, watch Purple Rain again, because that still holds up. Even though,
let me check notes. Yep.
Even though
guys agree on that now.
Even though he shouldn't be slapping Apollonia around, but I mean, other than that, that movie rocks.
Yeah.
Right.
It's got Morris Day in it. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
So no, avoid at all costs. Hurry up tomorrow, or just wait. It'll be on HBO Max in a couple weeks.
Yeah, you can fall asleep to it later.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, well, we got more. We're gonna wrap things up with the beef tip. Keeping the conversation moving on the podcast broadcast, youtube.com/beefeating. You can join us there. Keep it right here on Rock 102.1. Yeah, that makes sense. And this is the second time that The Weeknd proved that he should stay the hell away from any kind of acting, because
stay in your lane, man.
Or get a manager that wears t-shirts that knows how to pick roles for you. You know what I mean? Because again, that was just like, that's the second role that first off, I didn't even recognize him, and it was Johnny Depp's daughter's project, Rose Depp. That you're talking about. And it started off very porntastic, the HBO series, and it was controversial for the sake of being controversial, and he was in it. And the acting was kind of like off-putting, in a way where you're just like, you're uncomfortable watching it, not because of the context, but just because it felt like disingenuous, right?
Yeah.
It was difficult to really get into it. And, they had Rose Depp like naked having sex with a bunch of people. So for me to be like,
yeah, for beef to tune out, it's got to be pretty bad.
Yeah. So what am I watching this for? Fuck.
Yeah, no, but you're right, and I think that's the thing. The reason this is a bigger failure, honestly, is because he produced it and he co-wrote it.
Yeah, so it's
his fingerprints are all over it. Right?
Masturbatory is the best way to describe it.
It really is.
And I wouldn't even be surprised if there were many reviews that probably just said the same thing. Like, hey, if you want to see The Weeknd, love all over himself for 2 hours.
Yeah, it is it. That's exactly what it is. And that's why I did, to your point, if you're a fan, there's something for you. But if you're not, you're just like, what the hell is this? So
that's a bummer.
It is. I wanted to like it more because I thought with that talent, with everybody else around, I'm like, oh, cool, this is going to be good. It's not good. Yeah. Anyway. No. And next week we've got Mission Impossible and the live action Lilo and Stitch. So
which Mario is super excited about. Mario will be joining us next Friday as well, just to hear you.
Okay.
And so If it's not good, just lie to her. She'll be heartbroken,
Well, now
Yeah.
see, I was going to go watch Mission Impossible for sure. Now I got to watch both if Mari's going to be here.
You're going to have to.
All right,
Yeah,
I'll do it.
Yeah.
I'll do it.
She'll be in
I'll
next
take one for
Friday.
the team. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I heard the new Mission Impossible chronicles Katie Holmes escaping her marriage to Tom Cruise and the Church of Scientology, so I'm excited to see that.
Escaping from Scientology is, in fact, impossible. That's not easy to do.
Yeah. That's your beef tip. Don't get involved with Scientology.
I say that every day. So subliminally, I say that all the time. They're just not picking up on the message, But yeah, we'll get there. Yeah. So, all right. Let's see. We got a couple minutes that we'll be doing a beef tip here. Let me just get my side of beef song. And then Michael is going to be joining us at the Meet the Chef event this Sunday. So if you guys want to go to that, you can still get tickets at kfma.com. It's only $25, and there's about 15 restaurants. So lots of food. You're familiar with all the restaurants and stuff that's happening this year, right?
Most of the restaurants.
Yeah, most of them.
Yeah. So I'm excited to kind of see what they're going to be bringing out some big flavors.
Big flavors.
See what's going to be happening.
Yes. In fact, you need to wear your Guy Fieri shirts. That you're not working.
Oh,
Do you have a flaming Guy
I
Fieri
leave
shirt?
that to Tip. He wears all the horrible clothes.
Well, I
That's
remember
true.
last year you guys talked about how many dishes that you guys personally tried that you guys were kind of underwhelmed by. Where you're like,
Don't say that on the air, man. Jesus, we got these chefs watching us, man. That
Nice
was
job.
on the DL, Michael. God.
Come on, Michael.
I'm trying to sell tickets here. No, there were some things where I'm just like, it's good, but I don't see how it's going to blow it away. But to be fair, I actually thought that Chef Anthony's dish wasn't going to win because it was a sushi dish and he's a sushi chef. And I thought he needed to do something different. I was way wrong. So, I show all the time that I don't know what I'm talking about. It's Rock 102.1 KFMA. Welcome back. Beef Vegan Presents. We're just wrapping things up here with our panel. We've had Michael from Watch Next Level. If you like food content on the gram, follow them at Watch Next Level, and Herb Stratford in studio talking about what to watch and what not to watch. On the stream, we did talk about how Final Destination Bloodlines is actually very good and people enjoy it. So if you are familiar and you're a fan of the franchise from the early 2000s, it's not a reboot, but a continuation of this version was actually a smart, well done, and pays homage to the previous, films that you grew to love. So at like 80-something% on Rotten Tomatoes.
93. And I just will say too, I very much appreciate, I'm not spoiling anything here, but it did not end the way that sometimes films end where like, okay, we're going to give you more. You know what I mean? It didn't, it was perfectly encapsulated. Like if this is the only other Final Destination you get, nailed it.
Right.
If you get more, great. I'm happy to see it, but I'm just saying it didn't leave that.
Okay, good. So it kind of wraps it with a bow. So, but then gives you the opportunity that maybe it will continue, but not necessarily unnecessary cliffhanger where you feel robbed.
Yeah.
That's good because everyone wants closure.
Yeah. And there's no, mid-credit scene or any of that crap. So
okay. And then next week we're talking live action Lilo and Stitch and Mission Impossible.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be gearing up for, a superhero season because Fantastic Four and Superman are going to be battling it out. And we're looking forward to seeing that and who's going to win
season 2 of Peacemaker.
Yeah, I know, but that's in the fall. I already got it marked on my calendar.
Yeah.
All right, before we wrap things up, though, let me give you a beef tip. Of course, summer's upon us, and a lot of people will be planning on going on vacation. Here are 4 tips that'll save you money while planning your summer vacation. First and foremost, you want to be flexible with your dates, all right? So if you're locked in on traveling on July 4th weekend, it's going to be a lot more expensive than anything else. So why don't you look through like the whole month or two?
Like actual dates. I thought like dates. Never mind.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No, but you want to see what days they're actually offering deals and then plan your vacation around that. Don't assume vacation rentals are cheapest. There was a time where vacation rentals like Airbnbs were usually cheaper than a hotel. That's not the case anymore. Check your options. Also, you want to stay in the outskirts of the city. So the closer you stay in the city and the actual action of the city, the more expensive the hotel is going to be. So if you stay a little bit on the outside, then it's going to be cheap, especially if there's good transportation. So you think about that. And finally, pay with credit card points if you have those. This one's tough if you don't have many points saved up already. But if you are sitting on a bunch of points, use them to book your flight, hotel, and rental car. That way, you're going to save a bunch of money in this year's vacation. See?
Yeah, good stuff.
Ended it with something semi-intelligible. See, I tricked you, Tucson. We'll see you Sunday at the Meet the Chefs event, Desert Diamond, Celurita. You can still get those tickets, KFMA.com. Enjoy the rest of your day. Robin Nash is up next. Drive safe, ride safe, and as always, rock local. Later.
upon a side of beef. Soon will
Drop it for him,
come
Valdez.
and end to all your grief.
All right, drop it for him,
But
Michael.
if you've
next
been
level,
mean or
Michael.
kind of bad, I will knock out all your teeth.
I'm Herb.